Duration: approximately 8 minutes. Setting: a town hall-style community meeting in a multi-ethnic neighborhood. A diverse audience sits in a semicircle. A banner reads, "Safety, dignity, and homes for all." Characters: narrator, community leader, a Latinx educator. Imam, Aisha, Muslim leader from a South Asian background. Malik, Muslim, North African heritage. Rosa, Latina, first-generation immigrant, college student. Diego, Latino, second-generation, policymaker intern. Fatima, Muslim convert from Christian background, speaks to identity and faith. Amina, public housing advocate. Officer Chun, community liaison, former teacher, farmer, neighbor, elderly, speaks to heritage and unity. Props: chairs in a circle, microphones, a few signs. Safety, housing, work, food, peaceful neighborhood. New xenophobia. Note: this script centers on the idea that diversity in bloodlines, hues, religions, politics, education, and paths to faith can be a strength when we share common hopes. Safety, housing, work, food, and a peaceful neighborhood. Lights up. A calm, hopeful ambiance. The corporate Muslims, who is the narrator, steps forward. Narrator: a Latina Muslim sister in her 30s. Welcome. Tonight, we gather not to argue about differences, but to celebrate them and to remind ourselves that our common ground is larger than our divides. We come from many bloodlines, and who's Latino, Arab, African, South Asian, indigenous, mixed ancestors. We come with many beliefs: Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, secular, and many political ideas. Yet we all want safety, housing, work, food, and a neighborhood where we can live in peace. This is our family. This is our town. This is our future when we choose unity over fear. The community leader, who is Afro-Indio-Puerto Rican, steps forward, smiling warmly. Community leader? Half Chinese and half Dominican, Muslim, woman in her 30s. Thank you. I am a daughter of a Latinx family who some are African black, some are Indian brown, and some European complexion with a tan, who learned early that the strongest communities are built on listening first. We may speak different languages at home, but at the meeting table, we share a common language: dignity. Tonight, let's practice that dignity by lifting up each other's stories without turning them into headlines or stereotypes. Imam Alim joins, gently placing a scarf on Fatima's shoulders. Imam Alim: Salam alaikum. I'm grateful to be here with you. In our mosques, we speak about justice, compassion, and the sanctity of every life. Our faith teaches that a neighbor's safety is not a favor, it is a right. Muslims from Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, and Latin America. And Muslims born in America, and some Muslims converted to the deen and still keep their culture and heritage intact. Our journeys differ, but our prayers often align on mercy, service, and peace. We are not a single monolith. We are a tapestry that reflects God's variety. Let us be recognized not for stereotypes, but for our shared humanity. Malik, the black Puerto Rican Muslim who's a former gag leader and community leader, incredible messenger, nods, steps closer. Malik, the black Puerto Rican Muslim who's a former gag leader and community leader, incredible message. I grew up in a neighborhood much like this, one full of voices, full of color, full of stories. Some of us came here after long journeys. Some were born here and learned to bridge worlds at the kitchen table. We don't only pray in the same mosques. We work in the same clinics, the same schools, the same grocery stores. Our faith is a journey, sometimes from Christianity to Islam, sometimes from other paths into peaceful paths of learning and service. We want to contribute, to belong, to be counted when the city plans its future. The audience murmurs with recognition. Rosa, first-generation college student, consistent speaks. Rosa, first-generation college student, consistent, with previous one, former gang leader and promising leader for her community. I'm Rosa, a first-generation college student, former gang leader, and now a credible messenger, working with local mentors to center immigrant families in housing policy. My family came here seeking safety and opportunity. We're not asking for charity, we're asking for fair chances, for legal protections that keep families together, for affordable rents that don't push us out after one bad month. Diversity in this town isn't a problem to solve. It's a resource to invest in schools that teach empathy, clinics that welcome different languages, neighborhoods that welcome every faith and every flag. Diego, a 5%er, which is a group that did a schism from the Nation of Islam, steps in, confident but thoughtful. Diego, a 5%er, which is a group that did a schism from the Nation of Islam. I work with policymakers on small business programs and housing incentives. We've debated numbers, but the human stakes are simple. People deserve roofs over their heads, jobs with fair wages, and a sense of belonging. Some of my best mentors are from households with different beliefs. When we learn together, we innovate together. The moment we decide that any group's safety is secondary, we all lose. Our city can be a model. Diverse in color and creed, united in common good. Fatima speaks softly with conviction. Fatima, I was raised in a Christian home, and many years ago I found Islam. It wasn't about abandoning who I am. It was about embracing a broader truth, rooted in peace, service, and justice. I've learned that faith can be a bridge, not a barrier. Latinos who convert or who come from Muslim families or mixed heritage households, these lines do not separate us. They remind us that the search for meaning is universal. We all want a safe home, honest work, and a neighborhood where our children can grow with courage and kindness. Amina rises, addressing housing and policy. Amina, I advocate for safe, dignified housing for every family. When we talk about housing, we're talking about roots. Classrooms where kids do their homework. Clinics where elders recover. Parks where neighbors play. It's not about generosity. It's about obligation, our obligation to ensure a fair process, clear paths to permits, and anti-displacement. The more diverse our housing policies reflect, the more resilient our city becomes. Officer Chun addresses safety and community trust. Officer Chun! And safety isn't only about police presence. It's about trust. When residents see neighbors who look different, speak different languages, or practice different faiths, they should feel protected by a system that treats everyone equitably. We benefit when we train officers in cultural sensitivity, when we fund language access, when we create open channels for reporting crime without fear of deportation or prejudice. A peaceful neighborhood is built on mutual responsibility and accountability for all of us. The farmer, neighbor, speaks, bridging generations and cultures. Farmer, neighbor, I've watched this land change hands many times, but one thing stays constant. The people who tend plants and families alike need water, sun, and soil. Our soil is the more different seeds we plant, the stronger our harvest. That means schools that teach every child to read their own stories and others. Housing that respects long-time residents and new families. Jobs that pay enough to raise a family. And a culture that rejects xenophobia in all its forms. Narrator! A moment to reflect. If a neighbor speaks a different language, does that mean they don't belong? If someone worships a different god or follows a different path, does that make them less American? The answer is no. Our country was built by people who brought many colors to one flag. Our neighborhood thrives when we honor every color, every faith, every story, and every plan for a better life. Imam Olim Black Latinx steps forward with a proposal. Imam Olim, let us commit to concrete steps, multilingual community safety plans, so everyone can report concerns in their language and feel heard. Housing policies that protect tenants from sudden displacement with anti-speculation safeguards and inclusive zoning that welcomes diverse families. Economic opportunities that fund small businesses owned by people from every background with mentorship programs that cross cultural divides. Educational programs in schools that teach inclusive history, critical thinking, and empathy for all faiths and cultures. Platforms for interfaith and intercultural dialogue to air fears, share needs, and celebrate progress. Rosa, first-generation college graduate nods, adding practical ideas. Rosa! Same previous character, consistent, let's also fund language access in city services. Hire more bilingual caseworkers and create neighborhood councils with rotating seats for different communities. If a neighbor feels seen, they'll help others feel seen too. Officer Chun invites participation. Officer Chun, we can start with a neighborhood safety night, where police, faith leaders, educators, and residents share safety tips in multiple languages, answer questions, and identify traps like misinformation. When people know their neighbors, myths lose power. Diego offers a policy-focused pledge. Diego, consistent character from earlier in the video. We can pilot an inclusive housing voucher program that prioritizes long-term residents alongside newcomers, funded by closing loopholes that let speculators drive rents up. We'll require developers to include affordable units and to train locals for construction and maintenance jobs. This is how we build not just walls, but stairways to opportunity. Fatima addresses faith and unity. Fatima, in our shared faith space and in our homes, we can practice hospitality. Invite a new neighbor to a meal. Learn a new greeting in another language. Attend a school event that features multiple cultures. Small acts create a culture of safety and belonging. The light of Allah, or the light we each carry, shines brighter when we light it for others. Malik? And let's celebrate how our different paths intersect. Some are college educated. Some are learning trades. Some are rediscovering faith. All are essential threads in this community fabric. We don't have to agree on everything to agree on basic decency. Safety, housing, work, food, and a peaceful place to raise our children. Pause. The group forms a circle, hands joined or near each other in a sign of unity. Narrator. Latina, Professor So. What would a neighborhood that honors diversity look like in practice? It would welcome newcomers with consistent, fair processes for housing and jobs. It would protect the rights and dignity of every resident, regardless of faith or origin. It would invest in schools, clinics, markets, and public spaces that serve everyone. It would reject xenophobia in all its forms, choosing curiosity over suspicion. Audience members share brief, spontaneous affirmations. Amen. Jess, we are family. Safety for all. The tone remains hopeful. Community leader? Latina, in her 30s. Friends, here's our shared promise. We will not let fear rewrite our story. We will not measure worth by where we come from, what we believe, or who we vote for. We will measure worth by how we show up for each other, neighbors who listen, learn, and act. Imam Alim, let this be a turning point, not a final destination. The path of unity is ongoing, not finished. We must return to these conversations with courage, honesty, and kindness. Narrator. Black Muslim woman. And so, as we close tonight, let us carry forward the spirit of these conversations into every home, business, school, and city hall. We can be a city where every child has a safe home and a fair chance at education. Every worker is paid with dignity and respect. Every faith is honored, and every belief is protected. Every neighbor feels safe in their community and proud of where they live. All characters raise their hands together, a symbol of solidarity. All. We are many. We are one. For safety, for housing, for work, for food, for peace together, we stand. Narrator. Latina in her 30s. Thank you for joining this dialogue. May our actions daily reflect the ideals we shared tonight. A diverse, vibrant, and safe neighborhood where xenophobia has no home, and unity has every door open. Lights gently fade as soft music cues in, leaving a sense of hopeful possibility. End of script.